A woman is dead after a shooting on Lips Lane this morning. Thank you so much for joining us here at 6:30. I'm Alex Dieterer. Now, police say they responded to the shooting on Lips Lane, which is just off Preston Highway, shortly before 10 this morning. When officers arrived, they found a woman who had been shot. She was taken to the hospital where she later died. Anyone with information is encouraged to call the anonymous tip line. That number is 574 LMPD. And this is the 124th deadly shooting just this year. That's 3 more than this time last year. WHAS11's Alexandra Goldberg is joining us now. And Alexandra, over the past 5 years, we've seen a decrease in violent crime, but we're nowhere near where we saw pre-pandemic.
Right, Alex, those numbers are nowhere where we were pre-pandemic. And since then, the number of fatal shooting victims have been well over 100 each year. I spoke with a community activist who said the only way to signal to the public that things are getting better is if the numbers of tragedies dip below 100.
Because if you stay at 100 a year plus, that's a hard conversation to have about how things are getting better.
Christopher 2X is an activist for gun violence prevention. As the year wraps up and data trends are revealed, he says the rate of homicides in the city is still following a dangerous trend. There have been 123 fatal shootings in 2024, according to the Louisville Metro Gun Violence Dashboard, and 129 total victims this year who have died as a result of gun violence. Including non-fatal shootings, there have been 488 victims of gun violence in Louisville this year alone.
There's not been a break in that trend in at least 5 years to 6 years.
The data shows 2020 was the year homicide trends in the city significantly changed. Each year since then, the number of homicide victims has passed 120. Christopher says in the past few years, gun violence has seeped into all corners of the city, which he says the data reflects.
The widespread violence in all 8 LMPD divisions. Some way less than others, but some having uncommon trends that they never have visited before.
Christopher believes the solution is to start positive conversations with the youth as early as possible to prepare the next generation for a better future.
Christopher says it's too soon to tell if the city programs are making a difference in the long term, and there's no quick solution. But he says all plans are worth presenting to save lives. Live in the studio, Alexandra Goldberg, WHAS11, on your side, Alex.
All right, thank you, Alexandra. And a teen is dead and another is injured after a crash on National Turnpike overnight. According to police, officers were on patrol just before 4 this morning when they attempted to pull over a stolen car. The car sped away from police and LMPD decided not to pursue the vehicle, turning off their lights and their sirens. LMPD say police saw sparks fly from the direction the car headed and police responded. Once on the scene, police found an overturned car, which they believe was the stolen car that ran away from police. LMPD says 2 teens were inside the car. One was pronounced dead on the scene and the second was taken to the hospital where they are expected to survive. No other vehicles were involved. Well, it's been a pretty gloomy Saturday afternoon and evening, and Sam, it's looking like it's going to keep going. The party's going to keep going into tonight, and some rain's going to join.
I know, rain along with it. We're not talking snow. It's a warm one, Alex, especially if you're not a fan of the cold air this time of the year. 60 degrees
Mind-blowing.
As we headed from Christmas to New Year's. Just in time for 2025. Those of you that do maybe like it a little colder, you're in luck, because the first couple of days of the new year will likely be a lot colder. So savor this while you can, this warmer air. We did hit 60 today in the city. Bardstown 61. Elizabethtown just below 60. Keep in mind, though, these are readings that we normally do see in late September and early October. Again, we are going to be noticing temperatures the next couple of days staying pretty mild. But, of course, it will be coming with a price to be paid, and that'll be in the form of some rainfall, all beginning into the course of the night tonight. So with that said, in the city, temperatures either side of 60 degrees, 56 in Sellersburg and 59 right now in Linden towards the east end of Jefferson County. We do have that light south and east breeze 80s right now, keeping temperatures held in check and very humid as well. This is the big story we're talking about, though. Take a look at a complex of showers and thunderstorms rolling through the deep south right now, anywhere from western Mississippi down from Jackson. There's been active tornado warnings and severe thunderstorm warnings. Luckily, we're not going to be seeing the severe weather that our friends to the south are seeing, but we're going to be seeing some good old rainfall. All starting off around 10 p.m. Alex, I'll be guiding everybody through the futurecast for the timing of this storm system coming up.
All right, thank you, Sam. Russia's Vladimir Putin has apologized for a deadly plane crash in Kazakhstan earlier this week. Putin, however, stopped short of taking responsibility. The cause is yet to be determined, but multiple sources point to potential Russian involvement. ABC has the latest.
As investigators comb through the crash site where the passenger plane went down, a stunning statement from the Kremlin today. Russian President Vladimir Putin apologizing, but not taking responsibility for the crash. The Azerbaijan plane crashed in Kazakhstan Christmas Day. Experts from around the world have been pointing fingers at Russia, blaming Russia's anti-aircraft defense systems for damaging the plane. Russia has been locked in aerial combat in the area in its almost 3-year-long war with Ukraine. But while Putin apologized for what he called a tragic incident in Russian airspace, he did not accept blame for the crash. The head of Russia's aviation agency blaming Ukraine, saying the situation in the Grozny airport area was rather complicated on that day and at those hours. Ukrainian drones were conducting terrorist attacks on civilian infrastructure. Lieutenant Colonel Friedrich Koga was a ballistics expert on the investigation that determined Malaysian Airlines flight MH17 was shot down by Russian forces in Ukraine in 2014.
If you look in detail to the punctures, these are all inwards oriented punctures, meaning that something from the outside went inside. So this is not the typical damage that you see simply due to an aircraft crash.
38 people were killed in the crash, including 13-year-old Muhammad Ali Yagnov. His funeral today in Baku, the capital of Azerbaijan. He had been traveling alone to visit his mother in Grozny, Russia. Miraculously, 29 people survived, some able to walk away from the wreckage, others in the hospital, now speaking out. Vafa Shabanova saying about 20 or 30 minutes after takeoff, she felt 2 explosions. A crew member says he heard 3 thuds above Grozny and noticed he was injured. He says, in the left arm, I don't know what touched me. I just looked and saw blood. But the conversation cut short. He says, I have to turn my phone off. They're not allowing me to speak. Several airlines, including those from Azerbaijan, Dubai, and Israel's main carrier El Al, have now suspended flights to Russia. Inez Deliquatera, ABC News, London.
We have continuing coverage tonight on the very public clash of Trump allies over immigration policy. Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy are among those urging Trump to embrace skilled foreign workers. However, it's sparking backlash from other Trump supporters. The fight is over H-1B visas, which are the visas given to skilled workers in the tech industry. The tech industry has said they are critical for hard-to-fill positions, but critics have said they undercut U.S. citizens who could not take those jobs.
American jobs for American citizen workers. This is a scam, a total scam. And if we got to have a throwdown, let's have it now.
In his first term, Trump criticized the visa program and suspended it completely in 2020 during the pandemic. Trump is also pressing the Supreme Court to pause a controversial bill on TikTok set to effect next month. Trump filed a brief this week saying a delay would allow his administration to pursue a negotiated resolution. The Supreme Court must make a decision by January 19th when the ban is set to take effect.